8 evening anxiety triggers that sabotage your sleep health. If you've ever tossed and turned at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering why peaceful sleep feels so hard to catch, this video is going to be your lifeline. By the end, you'll discover 8 powerful evening triggers that could be sabotaging your sleep health without you even realizing it. And here's the promise. Once you know how to spot them, you can take back your nights, wake up with real energy, and even add more quality years to your life. Now, you might already know 1 or 2 of these triggers. It might even seem basic at first, but stay with me, because when you see how these small choices build up, the results are out of this world. Imagine falling asleep faster, staying asleep longer, and waking up with a clear, rested mind. That's what's waiting for you if you make it all the way through this video. So let me ask you this. When was the last time you woke up feeling truly refreshed? Without aches, without that heavy fog in your head? If it feels like it's been years, then tonight could be the turning point. Because what I'm about to share isn't just theory. It's the practical, real-world solutions that people in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s are using right now to reclaim their evenings. Stay with me. Your better sleep begins here. Trigger 1. Late night news and overstimulation. One of the biggest culprits that keeps older adults awake is something you probably don't even think about anymore. Late night news. The flashing images, the constant cycle of negative headlines, and the tone of urgency are designed to keep your attention locked in. But here's the truth. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a real-life emergency and what's on the screen. By the time you switch off the TV, your body is still pumping stress hormones like cortisol. That means your heart rate is up, your mind is racing, and your chances of slipping into deep sleep are cut in half. Now, this doesn't mean you should stop staying informed. It simply means moving your news intake earlier in the day. Swap the late-night broadcast for something calming like soft music, a favorite old movie, or even gentle conversation. That one change alone could reset your nervous system before bed. And remember, the goal isn't just to fall asleep faster, it's to stay asleep and wake up without that anxious buzz still humming in your chest. This is why controlling your evening environment is so powerful. When you create calm instead of chaos, your body follows suit. So ask yourself tonight, what's on your screen before you go to sleep? Because that choice might be stealing hours of rest you deserve. Trigger 2. Caffeine hiding in your evening. Most of us think of coffee as the main source of caffeine, but here's the secret. Caffeine is hiding in more than just your morning cup. Evening tea, chocolate desserts, certain pain relievers, and even decaf coffee can carry just enough caffeine to keep your brain on alert. And as we age, our bodies take longer to process and clear caffeine from the system. For someone in their 60s, 70s, or 80s, that late evening treat might linger all the way past midnight. You might not feel jittery, but your brain's sleep cycles are quietly being disrupted. That means you're not dropping into the deep, restorative stages of sleep your body desperately needs. The good news? You don't need to give up everything you enjoy. Instead, swap out caffeine sources after mid-afternoon. Try herbal teas like chamomile, rooibos, or peppermint. These aren't just soothing. They send gentle signals to your nervous system that it's time to wind down. And here's the kicker. When you make this small shift, you may start to notice that your sleep feels more complete, more refreshing, even if you're not going to bed any earlier. Sometimes it's not about sleeping longer, it's about sleeping better. So tonight, before you reach for that little harmless treat, remember, it might not be harmless at all for your sleep. Trigger 3. Unresolved worry loops. We've all been there. You're finally in bed, the room is quiet, but your mind? It's running laps. Worries about family, money, health, tomorrow's appointments, they circle and circle with no finish line. These racing thoughts are one of the most common reasons people over 60 can't fall asleep. And yet we often underestimate just how much damage they do. The problem is, your brain isn't wired to just switch off. When a thought feels unfinished, your mind clings to it like Velcro. That's why simply telling yourself to stop worrying never works. Instead, you need a ritual to release those loops before bed. One powerful method is a simple brain dump. Keep a notebook by your bed. Before you lie down, write down every single worry, every task, every little thing bouncing in your mind. Then, tell yourself, this paper will hold it until morning. That physical act signals to your brain that it doesn't need to keep spinning. And here's what makes it even better. Studies show that writing things down actually lowers nighttime cortisol, helping your nervous system shift into rest mode. If you've ever felt like your brain won't leave you alone at night, remember, you're not broken. You just need a release valve. And once you have it, sleep comes far easier than you think. Trigger 4. Bright lights and blue light exposure. Imagine this. Your brain has its own natural sunset. When the evening arrives, melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time for sleep, begins to rise. But when you sit in front of bright lights, glowing phones or tablets right up until bedtime, your brain gets tricked into thinking it's still daytime. The result? Melatonin production gets delayed, and your sleep window slips further and further away. This is especially tricky for older adults because our melatonin levels are naturally lower than they were decades ago. That means any interference, like scrolling on a phone, hits us twice as hard. Suddenly, midnight arrives and we're still wide awake, even though we're exhausted. The fix doesn't mean tossing your devices forever. Instead, give yourself a digital sunset. 1 hour before bed, dim the lights, put away screens, and let your body reset. If you must use a device, wear blue light blocking glasses or switch your screen to night mode. This simple reset allows melatonin to rise naturally so that by the time your head hits the pillow, your body is already preparing for deep sleep. The payoff? You'll not only fall asleep faster, you'll stay asleep longer because your body is finally working with you, not against you. So ask yourself, are your devices controlling your nights, or are you ready to take back control?
Trigger 5. Heavy or late night meals. One of the most overlooked triggers for poor sleep is late night eating. A big dinner, especially one high in fats or spices, forces your digestive system to stay active when it should be resting. For many older adults, this leads to acid reflux, indigestion, or that uncomfortable bloated feeling when lying down. Here's the hidden danger. While your body is busy digesting, it can't fully enter the restorative phases of sleep. That means even if you sleep for 8 hours, you'll wake up feeling drained, as if your body worked a night shift while you were asleep. The solution is surprisingly simple. Aim to finish dinner at least 3 hours before bed. And if you do need a snack, choose something light and sleep-friendly, like a small banana, a handful of almonds, or a warm glass of milk. These foods help encourage melatonin production instead of interfering with it. Remember, your body wants to rest at night, not juggle the heavy load of breaking down food. Give it the gift of calm, and you'll feel the difference in the morning. And here's a thought. Sleep isn't just about how long you're in bed. It's about the quality of rest happening inside your body. When digestion works with your sleep instead of against it, mornings feel brand new.
Trigger 6. Dehydration or too much fluid before bed. Believe it or not, both dehydration and too much fluid can wreck your sleep. Here's how. If you go to bed slightly dehydrated, your body may wake you up in the middle of the night with headaches, dry mouth, or muscle cramps. On the other hand, if you drink too much before bed, you'll end up making multiple trips to the bathroom, breaking your deep sleep cycles again and again. As we age, this balance becomes even more important. The kidneys process fluids differently, and the bladder may become more sensitive. So what worked at 40 doesn't always work at 70. The key is timing. Hydrate well during the day. Keep water nearby in the afternoon, but taper off after dinner. If you get thirsty at night, just sip small amounts instead of downing a whole glass. This tiny adjustment can reduce wake-ups dramatically, helping you achieve longer stretches of uninterrupted sleep. And here's something to remember. Uninterrupted sleep isn't a luxury. It's the foundation of health. It's what allows your brain to clean itself, your heart to rest, and your body to repair. Protect it by balancing hydration smartly, and your nights will feel far more peaceful.
Trigger 7. Cluttered bedroom environment. Your bedroom should be your sanctuary, but for many, it's become a storage unit. Stacks of mail, laundry piles, buzzing electronics, clutter on every surface, it all sends subtle signals to your brain that the day isn't done yet. And if your brain feels like work is unfinished, it resists letting go. Here's the science. Visual clutter increases cortisol and makes it harder for your nervous system to settle into rest. Even if you don't consciously notice it, your body does. That's why hotel rooms, with their clean simplicity, often feel easier to sleep in. The fix? Simplify. Remove unnecessary objects, especially anything linked to stress, like paperwork or bills. Keep surfaces clear and make your bed the central focus of the room. If you can, invest in blackout curtains and keep the temperature slightly cool. Your body associates these cues with nighttime safety and rest. When your environment whispers peace, your nervous system listens. The transformation is almost instant. Think of it this way. Every item in your bedroom is either helping you sleep or holding you back. Tonight, what will your bedroom say to you? Trigger 8. Skipping a wind-down routine. Here's a truth that surprises most people. Your body can't just jump from high gear into deep sleep. You need a runway, and that's what a wind-down routine provides. Without it, you're essentially slamming the brakes at full speed, and your nervous system fights back with restlessness, tossing, and turning. The routine doesn't have to be complicated. It could be as simple as dimming the lights, reading a calming book, listening to soft music, or practicing light stretches. The key is consistency. When you repeat the same sequence night after night, your brain begins to associate those actions with the message, "It's time to rest." For older adults, this routine becomes even more vital. Why? because circadian rhythms can shift with age, making it harder to feel sleepy at the right times. A ritual acts as an anchor, pulling your body gently into alignment with the night. So ask yourself, what's the last thing you do before bed? If it's checking email or scrolling through the phone, your body may never get the chance to fully switch gears. Replace it with a ritual of calm, and your nights could change forever. Now, if you're still watching at this point, that tells me something important. You're serious about improving your sleep, and I want to honor that. So if you've made it this far, type 1 in the comments below. That's going to let me know you're part of the group that's truly ready to take action. And don't underestimate the power of small actions. Even typing a single number is your first step towards reclaiming your nights. All right, let's keep going because the next strategies will surprise you even more.
The domino effect of evening anxiety. By now, you might be noticing a pattern. Each of these triggers isn't just about the night, they bleed into your day. Poor sleep makes you more anxious. More anxiety makes it harder to sleep. It's a cycle that feeds itself. And for many people in their 60s and 70s, it's been running quietly in the background for years. But here's the uplifting truth. When you break just one piece of the cycle, the whole chain starts to weaken. For example, if you reduce caffeine at night, you don't just sleep better, you wake up calmer. That calmer day then sets the stage for an even easier night. That's why tonight's video isn't about perfection. It's about progress. You don't need to fix all 8 triggers at once. Just pick one, apply it, and let the dominoes start falling in your favor. Think of it like building momentum. Once you feel the shift, just one good night's sleep, you'll find yourself motivated to keep going. And soon, the cycle that once worked against you begins working for you. That's the hidden power of understanding these triggers. The power of micro-wins. It's easy to feel overwhelmed when you hear so many, do this, don't do that, sleep tips. But here's a secret. You don't need a complete lifestyle overhaul. What works best, especially later in life, are micro-wins. Micro-wins are the small, almost invisible choices that add up to big results. Things like turning off your TV 30 minutes earlier, drinking water in the afternoon instead of right before bed, writing down one single worry instead of holding it in your head. These might seem tiny. You might even doubt if they matter. But remember, you might already know it. It might even seem basic. Yet the results? They're out of this world. The brain and body respond to consistency more than intensity. And when your body starts to trust your routine, sleep improves naturally. So don't think of tonight's video as a checklist you have to master in 1 week. Think of it as a menu. Pick one small win, repeat it, and watch how it multiplies. Because sleep health isn't about one grand gesture. It's about the quiet power of stacking small victories. The emotional side of evening anxiety. When we talk about sleep, it's easy to focus on the physical triggers, caffeine, lights, food, but there's an emotional side too. Many older adults carry unspoken loneliness, grief, or the stress of life transitions. These feelings often rise in the quiet hours of the night when distractions fade. Ignoring them doesn't work. In fact, emotional tension is one of the strongest predictors of restless sleep. That's why caring for your emotional health is just as important as managing your physical habits. This could mean journaling, calling a friend, joining a support group, or even speaking with a professional. What matters is giving those emotions a safe outlet before they spill over into your sleep. Because when your heart feels lighter, Your nights feel lighter too, and you deserve both. The role of gentle movement. Here's a surprising fact. Too little movement during the day can actually make it harder to sleep at night. When your body doesn't expend enough energy, it resists shutting down later. That's why even gentle activity, like a walk after dinner, light stretching, or chair yoga can make such a difference. Movement helps regulate hormones, reduces stress, and primes the body for rest. And no, you don't need intense exercise to see benefits. In fact, overly strenuous activity right before bed can backfire. The sweet spot is gentle, consistent movement during the day, paired with calm, relaxing stretches in the evening. Think of it as teaching your body the rhythm of effort and rest. By moving when the sun is up, you allow your body to truly settle when the sun goes down. And the result? Sleep that feels natural, unforced, and deeply restorative. Reframing bad nights. One of the most damaging patterns I see in older adults is the fear of a bad night's sleep. The moment you lie awake, the inner voice begins, "Here we go again. I'll never fall asleep. Tomorrow will be ruined." This anxiety about sleep itself becomes a trigger. The more you dread it, the more your body resists it. The shift comes when you reframe. Instead of panicking about a restless night, tell yourself, "It's okay. Resting quietly is still healing my body. Sleep will come when it's ready." This mindset softens the tension, which ironically helps you fall asleep faster. It's about compassion, treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a loved one. So next time the night feels long, remember the goal isn't perfection. The goal is peace, and peace always leads to better sleep in the long run. Why consistency beats perfection. By now, you've heard 8 powerful triggers in the ways to overcome them. But here's the truth. What will change your life isn't avoiding every single trigger perfectly. It's about being consistent with the few changes that matter most to you. If you pick just 2 or 3 habits and stick with them, your body will adapt. It will begin to expect rest at certain times, to release stress more easily, and to fall into rhythms that carry you naturally into sleep. Think of it like tending a garden. You don't need to pull every weed in one day. You just need to keep showing up, nurturing the process, and trusting that the seeds you've planted will grow. Consistency builds the foundation, and once it's there, sleep health becomes something you no longer chase. It becomes your normal. The ultimate optimal method. Now, before we close, I want to give you the single most effective method for conquering evening anxiety and protecting your sleep health. Ready? It's this. Pair relaxation with routine. Here's how it works. Choose one calming activity like deep breathing, light stretching, or listening to soft music. Then do it at the exact same time every night. Not almost every night, every night. When you pair relaxation with routine, your brain begins to link that action with sleep. Over time, it becomes automatic. Just like brushing your teeth triggers freshness, this ritual will trigger rest. This is the golden key. Not one random trick, not a complicated formula, just a simple pairing of calm and consistency. Do this for 3 weeks and you'll be amazed at the transformation. So here's the final truth. Sleep isn't just about the night, it's about how you live your evenings. By removing these 8 triggers and adding just a little routine, you're not only improving sleep, you're protecting your memory, your heart, and your overall quality of life. And here's the point I want you to take away. You don't need to overhaul everything.
You might already know some.